Because like the concern is, as they said in one of the greatest video games of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics, if the penalty for a law is just a fine, then that law only exists for poor people.
True.
Damn.
Oh shit, I didn't even really think about
That's
that.
deep.
And it could also, put people in a bad financial situation. Their kid having some sort of issue.
But if the penalty is like community service or something, some kind of behavior corrective thing like that, I think a law like this could potentially work. I think so.
But, ladies and gentlemen, go with a little bit of outside of this country. Try to get a little debate. Not a debate, really. Just to see if this shit would work for the rest of us. Should the U.S. follow behind Japan while they introduce jail time or tougher penalties for online bullying? It's a problem, I guess, over there. It's a problem everywhere, online bullying, really.
Yeah.
People commit suicide from it and stuff like that. And Japan's trying to implement a way to stop all the online bullying by going to jail or doing some punishments or payments. Should we follow that in the U.S.? Maybe, maybe not. What's your guys' take on it? You're on mute, though. Always.
I'll go first. Because I feel weird about this. I feel like for me, a person that grew up late 80s, early 90s, the internet was a place that I visited, like, until somebody picked up the phone and fucked the internet connection up or some bullshit like that. Yeah. It was a place you spent 1 to 2 hours, 30 minutes, however long it took you to masturbate. You know what I mean?
Oh,
or
wow.
Download, that one picture.
So about 30 minutes for that one picture to load.
Yeah. So I came from a time where it was a lot different. I know I sound fucking old saying this, but I think for me it's different. I think I know, and there's a level to this shit where this shit came in paces until finally about 10, 12 years ago, we got the smartphone, and then we had the internet on us always. Before, we had to leave to work or go somewhere and we didn't have the internet anymore. You know what I mean? But we're in an age now where the internet is on us 24/7. There are people on this earth, children, that they remember a tablet. That's it. That's what they remember. And they've lived with this tablet forever. And it's always had a connection to the internet. And there's also like a sociological aspect to this where people are like, if I don't get likes on my picture, I'm not liked. I could see people tying their self-worth into the internet and saying, if people are talking bad about me, then I must be a bad person. You know what I mean? And I think there's a different level when it comes to the newer generations that are growing up on a 24-hour internet cycle. But I remember there was times like when the channel would just go off. The channel would be like, "Oh, we're signing off," and the TV had a bedtime. Sometimes they didn't show anything on the overnight. You know what I mean? And we're living in a much different time. And I think these new kids and the way they're experiencing life and experiencing bullying, I think maybe there is some merit in having some consequences to your actions. Because we've already seen stuff like doxing. We've already seen stuff like swatting. We've seen all different different types of people have experienced online bullying some way or another, whether it be very extreme or very minor.
100%. Yeah, like I think about that all the time. Like how weird it must be for my nieces and nephews growing up in this social media age. Back in the day, right? You wanted to talk shit about someone. You did like a burn book. You wrote their name on. You wrote some mean shit about them on a locker or something. You spread rumors or something, right? That's like the mean kid shit you would do, right?
Yeah. Or during lunch, you get the circle, and everybody's cracking jokes on everybody, and then it just becomes one person gets cracked on. It's like, fuck.
Yeah. But now it's like there's Snapchat stories, there's fucking group text chains, there's messaging boards and Twitter and Facebook, all the things, just all the social media, right? And it's crazy the amount of harassment that you could potentially get from like not just the people at your school, but like that shit spreads. That shit will go viral. You'll have other people coming out of the woodwork and calling you names and shit. It's crazy. I can't imagine like that level of like social anxiety, I guess, that would come along with an attack like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely crazy because like nowadays, like when we were growing up, we were bullied to the max, but we just defended ourselves and took it, you know what I'm saying? Took it and clapped back with the jokes. But it's just like nowadays, some kids would get hit with a joke and it's just like, ooh. And I don't want to say it's because they're too soft or they're being, you know,
it's also like it's a difference, right? Between like being this is not to say that even bullying someone in person is a good thing, right? But there's a difference between bullying someone in person or your tweet going viral where you're shit talking someone, and next thing you know, there's 50,000 people talking shit about this person. There's 50,000 people that are making this person feel ostracized and bullied, and it's fucked up. I mean, we've seen it with like even a lot of popular figures, like who was that actress from Star Wars that she quit all social media because she was just getting bombarded with the racist comments and sexual attacks and death threats and shit like that. She was the Asian actress from the Star Wars movies. I forget her name.
Damn, I don't remember this.
You're on mute, though.
That's fucking terrible.
The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it was from the second one. I want to say she was the one that was
Finn's love interest.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know her name, but that sucks. They're talking about the racist one.
Oh no, not that one. Although some people would also say that those are bullying attacks on even that one, and that's the thing that I'm curious about. That's my concern with the law that they passed over in Japan, is it's pretty vague, and I don't know, but I also don't know how you craft a law that's going to properly address what you want it to address.
I don't know. I mean, nowadays, like kids giving like, you know, killing themselves or whatever and stuff like that. Like maybe there is something that needs to change. Like, I mean, joke with your friends is one thing, but I know bullying goes a whole nother level. Like, I mean, technically what we do to each other on a day-to-day is bullying. I mean, if you want to get real technical, but we're boys and we know we're just shit talking. We don't have no real malice behind it. Yeah, I mean, like I said, so it has to do with a lot. Like some kids being a little bit sensitive to the fact, and also kids not knowing when it's not a joke or when it's too far. You know what I'm saying? It's just all about a couple things that included that. And yeah, and online, it makes it even worse because at school, you get bullied in one class, it might trickle over to the next class or whatever, but online, it's going to stay there forever. And it's just, you know, I can see how that can like destroy a kid. But like I said, maybe these Japan laws might work, and there's an age difference for it. Like if it's a little 12-year-old, like what, you're gonna throw them in jail? No, I think you should send their parents a bill, and I guarantee you that kid's gonna stop. He's gonna get his ass beat because dad and mom got to pay a bill because you out here clowning this little kid. Yeah, I'm gonna beat that ass. I don't know. I also I don't know if you've seen it though, some parents will punish their kids and just shave half their head. It was a thing. It was a thing. It was a thing going on. I was like, wow, that shit is a beast. That kid's
I don't know how I feel about that.
That kid's gonna get clowned.
No, I'm not into that. I'm good off that.
But what do you think? Do you think that's a good idea to take Japan's like laws into effect in some ways? Some like change it up for ours, but
I don't know about putting people in jail. But I think like having to take like an anger course for anger and stuff like that, how there's, you know, courses like that. I think, you should be mandated to take one of those courses. And I think that right there, make it like a 6-hour course. And that right there, it'll just deter anyone from bullying. You have to spend the day at this place and it's just the worst. They're playing la da da dee da 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 da.
You're a French hater, bro. But imagine like you get to go to a class and your parents get hit with a fine if you're under like
something like that. I would be
bro, your parents
more
that ass. Could you imagine you coming home and telling your mom, hey, you got to pay $1,000 because I made fun of somebody today, or some stupid ass, I don't know what the price is, 1,000 is kind of high, but you know, enough to where it's like, oh, now you're costing me money, you piece of shit, like, I'm gonna whoop your ass right now.
It would be something more like, it would be more than like I cracked one joke about a kid, right? Like obviously it would be something like,
no.
I'm actually, you were cyberbullying them. You were which in my mind means you were waging a campaign. It wasn't just like one tweet.
One-off
It
joke.
was like, yeah, it's like a repeated behavior kind of thing.
Like Mateo farting, I'd call that man a fart boy or something, some stupid little kid joke or some shit. Like now, if you
weak comeback,
a kid joke, I just said, I could just be like, oh, Doe has ED. Niggas be like, oh, Doe has ED. Oh, like, oh. Then I look up. Now look. That's not weak, right? Now he's offended. I got erectile dysfunction. Why you put me on blast? That's bullying, right, though? Now you're tight. I get it.
I don't have erectile dysfunction, so I don't feel any way about that.
I don't know. But like I said, Mateo, kids see shit differently.
Yeah, and I mean we have a better understanding now of like how traumatic incidents and how trauma actually works and affects people, right? Like maybe that dude at work that's an asshole, maybe it's because that dude has a lot of fucking trauma from being bullied in high school or something. Mm-hmm. We could significantly lower the amount of assholes in our life if we put in some measures to curb some of this bullying, right?
I've had some nightmare managers in my life, and I was like, oh dude, you're borderline a bully. Like you just are a piece of shit and you enjoy being a piece of shit to people. I've had several managers like that I was just like, oh yeah, this is there's nothing that I'm never going to get anywhere in this conversation. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I think even then, like, how do you even in the workplace like your manager doesn't like you? You've never had that situation. Any of you've never seen somebody like the manager doesn't like, and they'll always get on them.
That's happened to me once.
That happened to me once at one of my previous jobs. The rumor around the office is that this guy was straight up racist because like of the people on his team, everyone that was a minority was on an action plan on his team. This is the manager that I've spoken about before, where I was called into his office one time. We had a meeting where he just went over like just how shitty all my numbers were. He put me on like an action plan, basically, which is like step one towards firing you. And then at the end of the conversation, when I was leaving the room, he's like, oh, by the way, here you go. And he handed me an award for Employee of the Month.
What the fuck? How does that even work? Like,
yeah, I was put on an action plan in the same month that I was Employee of the Month for our little department.
Holy shit.
And the way that situation resolved is I switched groups and then I got laid off.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I was saying, Bucho, like sometimes you could encounter bullying even in the workplace. And I've had managers and different coworkers. I had this one guy who used to ash his cigarettes in my boots, in my work boots, and in my shoes, Yeah, I'd come back to a whole bunch of
fucked this guy.
fat ass. Yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. I was 19 and he was like in his 40s.
I would have fought that bitch. You're bugging, ashing out.
Yeah.
I would have just took a shit. Did he have an office? I would have took a shit right on his desk. That's what I would have
I
done.
would have took a shit in his boots.
That's fucking. That's hilarious, bro. This nigga.
I would have put a big old shit.
And it was his ashes.
Yeah, and I tried to go to my boss and everything, and nothing.
That's crazy.
My boss was a functional alcoholic at that building, so he wasn't already on like thin strings as well. He didn't want to report any. He didn't like making noise. He'd come down at 7:00 and just stink of alcohol on his breath.
Damn.
Yeah. A tenant came down. She was like, Tony, there's a rat in my apartment. And he's like, where's the rat? And she said, I saw it outside on the fire escape. And he says, well, don't open the window.
I mean,
like,
that's
damn.
pretty factual. What do you want him to do? It's outside of the building. What do you want him to do?
Not bad advice, honestly.
Yeah, that's not bad there.
But where else people get bullied? At school. Not necessarily by students. I used to get bullied by one of my teachers.
Yes.
Really?
My brother as well.
Miss McKean. Fuck you.
Yeah,
Loud and
fuck
clear.
you,
I'm
Miss
telling you right
McKean.
It's a science teacher.
It's always a
Terrible.
science teacher. Always.
She used to call everybody by their first names, and she used to only call me by my last name.
Damn.
She called me Mr. and my
Insert
last
name.
Yeah. And I was like, it just felt so isolating. I used to tell her all the time, why do you keep referring to me like that? Like, you calling everybody by their first name. You only like me and some people you don't like, you're calling them by their last name.
This was Lake Worth Middle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sixth grade.
Same place my brother encountered that shit.
It was just strange. She gave me an F when I got all my good grades. I had an F in her class. So then I had to have like a parent-teacher conference. And my parents were livid because my mother's only rule in the house is, go out, party. Y'all gonna do bad shit. Don't embarrass me. Just get good grades, all right? And have fun. That's all I care about. And so me coming home with a bad grade was fucking asinine to her.
I wonder if this was the same teacher as my brother, dude, because the same shit happened to my brother.
Cigarettes.
So
they had to have a family teacher, and my mom was like, how come my son is performing academically in all his classes B, A, B, B, and in your class he has an F? Like, what's going on there? And once again, she used to single my brother Michael out. It was a woman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's probably the same fucking teacher. Stupid.
She put me in like a little island. I used to sit by myself in a corner of the room, and like, cause she was like, you can't sit next to people. Like she just used to try to make my time miserable in this room. Granted, not the best kid, so I'm not saying like I'm a saint or I'm totally innocent, but it just felt shitty. When I called her out about in front of my mom, I was like, look, she's only talks to me this way, and she talks to everybody else. And she goes, calling you by your last name and saying Mr., that's a sign of respect. I was like, you don't fucking feel respectful, bitch. You only talking to me like that. That shit feels different. Like, you hate me, evidently, by the bad grades, how much... There'd be times, that I'll be silent and people were yelling in the class, and she'll yell at me for screaming, and I'll get in trouble for this. And I'm like, I'm sitting here quiet as... People used to be like, damn, she got it out for you. Like, I used to hate going to school, to her class in particular. I hated it. It was one of the only times that I really experienced that. I've had other teachers that didn't like me, but it was rare to have a teacher that I felt like she hated me, It was strange.
There was one for me in Lake Worth High. I forget her name. She was in the portables. Fat, short, white teacher. I forget her name. She was a history teacher, I think. I don't know.
My God, what a drama queen!
You know what I'm talking about, though? What was her name?
My God, yes. I don't know. She was a history teacher.
Yeah.
She was short. She was a drama. She said I made her cry.
Oh, she says I made her cry too. The first day I walk in that class, I'm not even late.
Were we in the class together?
No. We would have destroyed her if we were. Oh. Bro, I enter the class, everybody's getting their seats. I come up, my name is Jose. Here's my the paperwork to say that I go to this class. Are you sure you go to this class? I'm like, yeah, it's right here. Your class, this period or whatever. Oh, you're late. The bell hasn't rang yet. How am I late? Oh, it did. And then the bell rings. I was like, oh, you hear that? That's the bell. So I'm not late. Oh, you're a smart one, I see. Then she sits me down in the front of the class. I hate front desk, bro. I hate that shit in high school. Sits me down. And from that day forward, bro, she fucked with me every day for shit. And bro, honestly, you know me. I was a hooligan in class. Like, I used to fuck around. This class, I didn't fuck around because A was 5th period, and I didn't want no beef going down to my next class, bro. It was too high. I didn't have time to be arguing with the teacher. This woman...
Tony was a trouble starter, and so was I. So bro, I'm not buying all this bullshit Tony's saying.
Nah, fuck out of here.
He didn't have no time with the teachers, right?
Yeah, I had no time with the teacher, bro. I sat down. Bro, you know what's crazy? I had a B in her fucking class. That's the crazy part about this shit. I had a B in her class. I was doing my work. Yeah. She'll call me to the front every fucking time, ask me the questions that I already know the answer to. I'm like, yo, there's other people here who don't do the homework, And you're trying to put me up here to try to what? To think I'm going to get something wrong so you can clown me? Oh, why are you being rude? I'm like, yo, you only pick me to read. There's 40 kids in here. You only picking me to read. I read every fucking piece of paper you want. I do all the homework. I give you all the... When is somebody else's turn to read?
Maybe she knew you needed help with your English, and you need
No,
maybe
bitch, that has
practicing
nothing
it
to
out
do
loud.
with it. It's not an English class. It's a history class. Like, fuck
I was-
out of here.
If I was Tony's teacher, I would make him read every single thing.
Me too.
Bro, I didn't care because I was reading it, but it's like, bro, is it somebody else's turn? She's like, oh, if you don't like it, you can leave. I'm like, bet, big bitch. I left. I got written up for it because I called her a big bitch, and from that day forward, I was known as the biggest asshole in history because I called her a big bitch. I got tired of it, bro. I'm not gonna get harassed by this bitch all damn day long in class. Every time I walk in your shit, you're looking at me with this penguin look face, like bitch, fuck out of here. I ain't got time for your looks. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember not having a great time with her, but not that bad. It wasn't as bad as.
Why does Tony hate penguins? And back to the topic, Booch. What do you think? Do you think the U.S. could actually adopt some anti-cyberbullying laws like this?
For sure.
Yo, I bullied the shit out of teachers though. As a student,
That was my favorite.
As a student, I bullied the teachers, man. I could be,
Lizard
you know,
neck. Remember Mr. Mills?
lizard. We called him
feel
Lizard
bad for
Neck
him.
Mills. We got all these cracks, all these jokes. So I don't know.
I was way too scared to bully a teacher. My mother would have fucking killed me. She would have showed up to school with a gun and killed me right there. Like, she would have just shot me because my mother don't play that bullshit. My mother works at a school, right?
Oh yeah,
She did
that's
not
her.
fuck around with that.
Didn't she work at your elementary school too? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, it sucked.
Never skip it. You better be on time because she's checking.
I skipped school once, insta-bagged. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Damn.
Damn.
Instant. My mother's like, oh, he's absent. Because my mother's a snooper. I got that from my mom. Remember I told you, like,
Yeah.
if I start a new job, I'll not start a new job. Like if I have like a new coworker, I'll find out everything about them before they ever start working with me. It's like I'll get their name, I'll get what school they went to, what state they're from,
That's so big.
and I'll find out everything about them. My mother's the same exact person. She's the same way. Like I'm pretty sure daily because she used to even bag me when I was in high school because my high school was in the same county as where she worked, and because of her position, she could see every student in the county, so she could look in and see absences and shit like that. She just does this shit. She just goes onto like because Florida has like a law where things have to like be public or whatever, like when it comes to like criminals and shit like that. So anybody that gets booked in any county across the state is like public. You could see their picture, their name, what they got booked for. She just goes to these sites and clicks through to like see if one of her kids got arrested, like often enough, like, and then she'll be like, "Oh my god." She'll be like, "Bucho, come look, your friend got arrested." I'm like, Jesus Christ, Mom. Like, yo, that shit's happened like 20 different times. She calls me over because someone got booked. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it was funny.
She goes to the booking blotter.
She probably tells you, don't bring
So
him
yeah,
over
my
here.
mom used to be like, on occasion, just check when I was absent. And she'd be like, "No, Bucho wasn't sick that day." And then she'll come, "Pero ven acá, muchacho." I'm like, I'm fucked. I already know I'm fucked. So, yeah, it sucked. But I love my mama. My mom's a shit. So she's just looking out
That's
for
funny
young
as shit.
brother. You know what I'm saying? She
But yeah,
kept me out
so
of a lot of problems.
You would
Have a
adapt
good
some of
mama.
these laws, though, right? I think it's a good idea, like just to stop or to try to stop.
I
totally.
was
my main
even
concern-
bullied by his mother. Okay,
My
I was
main concern. Yeah, my mother bullied me into being a good person. So in some respects, it's appreciated.
All right, she called me a seafood bitch.
Yeah, she called. My mother very rarely makes seafood because none of her children like seafood. But there was seafood in the house, and she asked Doi, "Would you like some?" Doi said, "Nah." And she said, "Oh, so you're a seafood bitch." So yeah, Doey's a seafood bitch, and so am I, Doey. So don't take it personal, all right?
No, it's not. But
She
that's
raised
what
a couple seafood bitches, all right?
before we move on, is light bullying really bad? Like with just playing around, just
Well,
is it?
Well, that's not bullying then, right? Like joking with your friends by in and of itself is not bullying. It's repeated. It's constant. It's one sided. There's certain factors that make something actually bullying, right?
So basically, my relationship with Tony.
Yeah.
What the fuck, bitch? How the fuck do I bully you? Tell
Wow,
me.
you see how you took that framing? No one said who bullied who. But
Exactly.
That's
you knew.
exactly. I
In
know
your heart, you knew.
I already know
In
this
your heart.
man. He's always a victim when it comes to me. When do I bully you, though?
Tony's the reverse victim right here. He's gonna say, "I victimized you so hard that you calling me a piece of shit. I'm a victim now." Anyways, Mateo asked me a question, guys.
I asked you the
Okay?
same one too, but he cut us off.
Perfect. So yes, I think that some of these types of laws should be adopted in the U.S. My main concerns are I think in general, underage people tend to be the vast majority of people that do any type of bullying, and probably especially online bullying.
yeah.
So how do you reprimand children? Like, how do you take a 12-year-old kid and tell them that they're like
Doey had some ideas for like a fine plus some kind of rehabilitation, like a class or something along those lines.
That's scary to me, only because, especially in the state of Florida, and I'm sure a lot of tough on crime states, there's a lot of private institutions that run like the children, children reformation stuff when it comes to like the boot camps or like the juvenile detentions and stuff like that. There was a guy that any case that came in front of him, he sent like 99.99% of children into like ridiculously length sentences for just ridiculous, just tiny things. So it's like the justice system in place kind of scares me for like how we treat children, especially because if you treat children like criminals, they grow up to be criminals. I think that's like another thing that scares me about this.
I think there's some alternative ways they could go about it though. Like some kind of like, I mean, you get caught speeding, right? You do a defensive driving class. I don't know what the success rate on like the sensitivity classes is, like how much behavior change you see from things like that. Something like that could potentially work though.
Maybe some sort of
community service as a requirement. Give them a fine and community service. Doing some shit like that.
They should be enrolled in a school for a short period of time, 1 month, where they're bullied by a bunch of other kids. They're getting bullied.
You don't remember in South Park they had the tunnel of slurs, and then it was in the museum of something like that, and they go through this tunnel, and then all these slurs start to pop up. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think I've ever became a bully. I don't think I was ever a bully in my life. I don't think I bullied anybody.
Send these kids to Bully Island, an island where we send all the bullies.
I think bullies have like we think of like an 80s bully, like beating up a kid every day and stuffing them into a locker and things like that. Damn. And like that's like a view that we have of bullies. But the reality is when you go to school and your family doesn't have enough money to like take you to a good barbershop and things like that, and a kid like Tony walks up to you and tells you how bad your tape is, and then you hear that like 3 days a week every time you see Tony, like in Tony's mind he's just making like a little joke, but from the other perspective, like you might be cracking on the thing that hurts this kid the most, and he feels like, I don't want to walk near this guy because he's going to say some shit that's really going to hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And so like we have this view. I'm sure I was a bully in school. I'm certain of it because I'm a fucking asshole. And I make a lot of comments. I make a lot of jokes. And I'm sure those jokes didn't land with people. I'm certain of it. So, I mean, I don't know. The idea that you're not a bully, fuck out of here. You got to be a bully. You have to be.
I know niggas used to make fun of me because I had that that small ass edger because my mom would
You
not
had a
let me go to
rainbow.
a fucking.
I remember you had the rainbow for a little while
my
too.
mom
I
would
made
not
fun
let
of
me
you
go
for
get
that.
a cut, bro.
I made fun of you
He
for that.
had
I'll
what
accept it.
what our friends in the ESE class would call a McDonald's tape, because he had the M.
See, I'm laughing.
I just
about
want you to know right now. That's a form of bullying right there. What he's doing.
Agreed.
I'm just
100%.
dude. It was what we did as
100%.
children.
That's a bullier right there.
Yeah. This is a nice transition into
So-
what we did as children, whether it's good or not. Though.
My mom-
Yo, we're acting like we did it as children. It must be fine.
Yeah.
Nah, it's not.
The times change.
I told my mom I want to get a cut. Niggas is counting the shit out of me. It's because of you. I need to get a cut. She's like, oh, but you're
It was not me. I remember you and Freddie and all these other kids in class also had like a fierce beef. Like, and it was always the first part of the class. We would always like do our work and stuff like that. But the beginning and the end, there was always just like angst. And you are. Don't fuck around,
What,
Tony.
bitch?
You
What?
create. You just will look at people and create energy.
No, because this
I know
is
what I'm
my
talking
thing,
about.
I
right?
had that power. I don't know how I did it. But I
This
had
is my
that
thing,
power.
right? Tony's over here acting like he's a victim right now.
Here we
Like,
go. Here we
I'm
go.
the victim
That
of
is, this is
bullying.
bullying as well.
And it may be true. It is not fucking bullying.
Saying someone's a
dick.
victim when they're not a victim, that's bullying.
Tony,
They had
you act
they had
like
to
a
sit
victim all
me
the
and
time.
Tony opposite sides of the class. Me and Tony, they could never sit us together.
You guys must have been best friends.
Yeah, but we hated each other. We would always argue.
Who's
He'd always
we?
argue with me.
You see how you throw this hate we shit? I never hated you. You was my punching bag. When I got bored, I punched you. That's what all it was. I never hated you. I needed you. You were my
creating-
Joker, and I was Batman. I needed you. That's it. You're Stempy or Ren, whatever. I'm the brain. You're Pinky. I needed you. You're my partner in crime. I needed you.
Okay.
That's it.
Anyways, my only fear is what constitutes bullying. And I
But
think that's something that wasn't defined as far as I could tell.
Yeah, it's
But
pretty
it's
vague
hard to
in the
know. Maybe
in the
it's well
Japanese law.
defined in Japanese internet, right? Like, who knows? The translations probably didn't cover what it was about, so I don't know.
They did
But
say
I
that-
tried reading. I couldn't find like to what degree do we now say that someone's behavior is bullying behavior,
Yeah,
and then what do we do about that thing? All I
Yeah.
read about is fines if you bully, but what is bullying? That's
I
my-
read one article that said that they left it kind of vague so they could tighten it up in the future, and I don't like that approach
That's
to lawmaking.
They said in 3 years they're gonna come back and re-examine the law and see how it's affected the people. They're gonna come back and
that's
re-examine
good.
the
That's
law.
what that's what lawmaking is about. It's trying shit. You do certain things, you see the effect it has on society, and you switch it up if it ain't good, or you know, kind of redirect a little bit if you think there's a slightly better angle to go. You know what I mean? We be acting like laws are too final around here.
Maybe there shouldn't be a fine associated with it, because like the concern is, as they said in one of the greatest video games of all time, Final Fantasy Tactics, if the penalty for a law is just a fine, then that law only exists for poor people.
True.
Damn.
Oh shit! I didn't even really think about
That's
that.
deep.
And it could also, put people in a bad financial situation. Their kid having some sort of issue.
But if the penalty is like community service or something, some kind of behavior corrective thing like that, I think a law like this could potentially work. I think so.
That's why in 3 years they should come back and go, damn, we just made a law that allows rich people to be bullies. All right,
Now
cool.
all the rich people were
Now-
just bullies, and all the poor people.
And then they go, all right, cool. Now we're gonna means test this fucking law, and then the rich people are gonna get fucking screwed, reamed 40% of your fucking your money. You're fucked right in the ass. And then the poor people, gonna get some reasonable fine, and then there'll be no bullies.
That
But
sounds
more likely than not, as most things, if you add a paywall for something, it's just a means of stopping poor people from accessing something. Unfortunately, even though if that's not the intent, it tends to be the outcome. So.
Should fines just be percentage based? Should it just be based on like your previous year's tax return or something?
I think so.
It shouldn't be percentage based. It should be like money bracket based or so. Because percentage based, you like say I only have $100 and you take 20% of my money, you take $20 and I'm stuck with just $80. Like that's a way poorer situation than somebody that has $1 million and you take 20% and they're just chilling with $800,000. Like it's a lot of money, but it didn't really hurt them that much.
Yeah.
Like, so like that's where your suggestion's almost like the libertarian view of like, maybe we should just have a flat tax where like everybody's taxed like 10%. But unfortunately that creates a heavier burden on poor people actually.
100%.
Too.
Yeah.
So.
If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that follow, subscribe, and like button. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Discord. We're everywhere. Follow, like, share us. Also, comment. We love the comments all the time. We get a little fucking laugh out of it.